Welcome back. Let's put this in the ether. Women need to stop comparing and competing themselves to men. They have to understand and realize that we are different. Right? We are not the same. Men and women are not the same. We're not equal. Right? We're not equal. We built differently, physically, mentally. Right? We are built different for certain tasks. There's certain tasks that men are capable of doing that women aren't capable of doing. We have to come to that realizations, right? You cannot be foolish and start saying women could do the same thing that man could do, right? When I see stuff like this, like a woman police officer, a woman firefighter, right? I roll my eyes on that, man. So you telling me this 5 foot tall woman police officer gonna save me, right? When most of the case when a woman police officer report to the scene, they usually have a man police officer with them. Right? If a woman is capable of doing the same thing as a man, why can't she just do her and herself? Why does she need a man police officer to be with her? Right? There's certain things women can't do when it comes to physicality. You tell me a 5 feet tall woman police officer can tackle down this 6'6", 300-pound man down? Right? You can tell me that. Especially 2023, where everything's all politically correct now. You can't use certain weapons. There's different protocols. You telling me that she's going to tackle this 6 feet tall guy down. Right? This is what I'm talking about. We have to come to the realization and understand common sense. This is not common sense. Why do you think they put a woman police officer doing paperwork most of the time? Because that's what they're meant to do. They're not meant to do extreme exertion of work. Right? They're not capable. They're capable, but they're not. You gotta come to the realization that something they can't do and something they can't do. Right? A woman firefighters. Right? You mean to tell me a woman firefighter? She's 5 feet tall. Right? I'm not saying women aren't strong. Right? I'm not saying women aren't strong. There's requirement, but this day and age, they want to be politically correct and woke. They're willing to hire a weak. I would say weak. A woman that's not at the capable stamina as a man to pick up a 300-pound man that's laying on the ground. How are you supposed to save that guy? Right? How are you supposed to save him? Right? Women physically bench lesser than men. How are you supposed to save a 300-pound man that's laying on the ground? Right? Or a couple of people, for that matter. Right? Not only that, women don't have the same cognitive skills as men. Men are bred to be quick thinkers. We're supposed to be think on the spot, right? Because it's survival. In order to survive in the wilderness, you have to have quick responses and think at the moment. Know when to expect a danger right ahead of you. Know when you see signs, tracks of wolves, sounds, your positions, right? Men are bred to take quick responses, right? We are meant to do that. So right. So how would women react to that? Remember, there was a example where in Canada, I think I brought this example up once already. There was like a drill they were doing in Canada about all women firefighters. Right. It turns out they were trying to do this drill. It turned out they burned out the whole forest and everything was a mess, right? They couldn't get to the right responses. They took a long time to get things done, right? There wasn't the appropriate responses, right? All these stuff, right? They couldn't achieve the right kind of response. That's what I'm trying to say, right? Compared to men who've been doing the same drill over and over, right? And not only that, look at the show Survivor Battle of the Sexes, right? Right, they were comparing women tribal group with men tribal group. The woman was suffering. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to take leads. They don't know how to take charges. While the man was thriving, the men already know what to do. They already know their role. They already know the position. One man was gathering all the wood. One man was gathering shrimp and mussels. Another man was fishing. Another man was building the shelter. Another man was making the fire. Without being told, they already know their role. Right? While the women was sitting bickering and arguing with each other, they were going through anger and all these emotional, trying to figure out who's gonna lead the group. And none of them were willing to lead the group. right? That's one example when I'm talking about quick cognitive skills like that. All right. So men and women are not that equal. We're not. We're just built differently. And we have to come to the realization and not lie to yourself, women. Women, don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to yourself. Right? You have to come to a realization because this is a matter of life and death. If you keep lying to yourself about things that's not true and not real, that could cost you your life. Right? That could cost another person's life. Right? All this woke thing we're going through right now. Right? All these affirmative action stuff, right? When it comes to real danger, real threat, you cannot depend on affirmative actions. We need qualified people to do this work. If you're not qualified to do it, you shouldn't be doing it because you put other people's lives at risk. Not just your life, other people's lives at risk. Right? You have to qualify for this. You have to know your capability. If you know your capability, you know what you can and can't do, don't do it. Right? Know your strengths and weaknesses. If you don't know your strengths and weaknesses, you can't do it. Fine. Nobody's gonna bash you because of your weakness. That's stupid. Like nobody care. Right? Don't try outperforming men. Men do not want to compete with a woman. Why do you think it's such a turnoff in relationship when a man is in a relationship with a woman and the woman's always competing with their husband? That always 100% lead to a strife in the relationship and then a divorce. Right? Men do not want a woman to compete with him. They don't. Men always want to be the provider, want to be needed. It's ingrained in our DNA. Right? So we are inherently different by nature. You can't go against, excuse me, just, burping. We can't go against nature. Because when you go against nature, you go against the order of the law of nature, right? You're going against that, you can create chaos. Chaos will ensue when you defy nature, right? This is why you don't play God. This is why you don't splice DNAs, right? You don't splice DNAs, change the chromosome, saying one thing or another, right? Because that will lead to chaos, right? You don't force women to do something that she's incapable of doing. That will lead to chaos. You don't force a man to do something that he's incapable of doing. That would create chaos, right? I'm just being fair right now, right? There's something men can't do that women can do. Women can be more nurturing and more supporting than a man can. Men, they're harder to support other people. They find it harder to be emotional support. That's why the women are capable of doing that. They're more affectionate creatures. They know how to support men. They know how to nurture, right? Men need that nurturing. They complement each other. It's dualism, right? You cannot have black without white. You cannot have war without peace. You cannot have good without bad. It's a dualism, right? Without dualism, nothing will exist. You cannot have life without death, right? It's dualism. You cannot have light without dark. It's dualism. It's a balance, right? If one thing are missing, right, that means something is imbalance. Once something is imbalanced, it can crash and create chaos. Right? If there's no light in this world, if there's no light in this world, right? If the sun suddenly goes out, right? That means it's dark on Earth. What does that lead to? It will not sustain life. The Earth will die out, right? If there's no moon, right? What does that mean? That means there's no high wave, low tide, high tide. There's no pulling up the water. That means there's no wind and all this stuff, right? That means the world is stagnant, right? That means some stuff will not cease to function well without the moon. It defies nature, defies laws. It needs each other. The sun needs the moon needs the sun. Night needs day, day needs night. Right? So you can't go against nature. This is why you should not compare yourself or compete against men because it's totally different things. They're counterproductive. They counter each other. It doesn't work well. You need to support each other, right? Not compete with each other. There's a big difference between supporting and competing, right? So it's a law of nature. So we're all different, and people need to understand that. I don't disparage women. I don't disparaging women, right? I don't want to disparage women, but I have to say the truth. But mainly, women is the one that's like, like to be in males area. But this is 2023. Now we have men identified as women trying to be in women's sports now, which is ridiculous because you're giving that woman a disadvantage. You're built differently. Now women are losing sports because of men with their psychological problems, right? Identify themselves. This is what happened when you are defying laws of nature. You have chaos like this, right? These men are defying laws of nature. These men with psychological issues, right? You're not. You cannot compare you to a woman. You are built physically different, stronger, faster, agile, higher stamina than women, right? That's what I'm talking about. You can't compare. We're different. We can because we're different. We cannot have women and we cannot have men in women's sport. We cannot have women in men's sport because it is a disadvantage, right? But I don't know. Let me know if you agree or disagree with what I'm saying, right? Leave your comment below. And as always, like, share, subscribe, and peace and blessings.